happened for a split second to freeze. But before we really get started, Margarita, do you have any questions for us?
No.
Jess, any questions?
Is that a Jägermeister shirt?
It is.
No.
Okay. That's my only question.
Okay. I got 4 of those shirts. One for Adam, one for Patrick, one for Wolfgang, one for I. And it was our very subtle joint outfit for the SQL conference party last month. This month.
Perfect. It's November.
It is. Thanksgiving yesterday. Oh, I'm still so full from yesterday, honestly. But anyway, how about we get started, and then we can talk about how full we are from Thanksgiving yesterday.
Perfect.
One last stretch. Hello, and for those who celebrated yesterday, happy Thanksgiving, because that was yesterday. I'm still personally very, very full. Not of
Me
turkey,
too.
but of other non-traditional Thanksgiving food. But anyways, we're not here to talk about me or Thanksgiving food. We're here to meet our brand new friend and our brand new guest, which is Margarita. Margarita, thank you for joining us this week. And for those that have not met you and for those that have not celebrated Thanksgiving with you yesterday, would you like to introduce yourself real quick for that very, very small group of people that was not at your house eating turkey yesterday?
Probably. I'm Margarita Neumüller. I'm 34 years old, or currently at the age where I have to think more than 5 seconds how old I really am, and sometimes get mixed up with the year before or maybe also next year. I live in the Ruhr area in Germany. I was raised also here in Germany, but what also a lot of people don't know, I was not born in Germany. I was born in Tajikistan.
Did not know that.
And yeah, I work at Aldi South. I'm active in the SQL community, SQL Pass family. My first conference was in 2015. Oh, 2016 was my first SQL conference. And since then, I fall in love with the people and just joined more frequently. And that's also, I think, why I was asked to introduce myself. And I'm really happy to meet also new other persons as a data friend.
Margarita is also the all-time champion of the Solution Nerdy Quiz at the German SQL or Data Saturdays. So over lunch break, we usually have a quiz where we ask some super random, super nerdy questions. My entire team is working on these questions for a year. I haven't even finished asking the question. Margarita knows the answer to all of them.
When I don't know, just bring someone who knows better.
The topics range really across
just general
anything nerd. It can be anime related. It can be Star Wars related, Star Trek related, Harry Potter related, any superhero franchise you could think of. All of that.
I would say it's mainly pop cultural things that are known by a lot of people. Some are really, really specific because
that is
I remember
where we disagree
one
on
of
the
the
known by a lot of people thing.
I remember one question, for example, was from Breaking Bad: how many people died within the complete series?
And you knew that?
No.
Oh, okay.
She was probably still closest with guessing, but.
I know that a lot of them are like the typical DC or Marvel things when coming to comics. So it's from my perspective, I would say it's not super nerdy. It's a little bit nerdy, and I always have fun.
Exactly what a nerd would say. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just observing here. Anyways, before we go down the rabbit hole of nerd TV series, movies, and whatnot, given that you're also a part not just of the data community, but of the professional data world, which is why we're having this very professional podcast, obviously, right? Our first real question on this show every single week is, what is your favorite data thingy?
For me, it's definitely the data itself. I always love digging into the data. I'm also a person, even in real life. For example, my husband and me, we play a lot of board games, and I have an app to track all of the board games that we play, how often, how long, so that I can track later then on how much within the month did we play which one, with how many people. Do we play more often on a Saturday, or does it more often appear on a Tuesday? And it's just so fun to see all of those things, even in private life, but also then in the corporate life, because I think that's interesting to see, okay, how many customers do you really have, and how much is the average that they pay when they are at the store.
I mean, that way you're also super prepared when one of those telemarketers is calling you, like, what was the last time you played a board game? Because you just pull out that app and like, it was last Saturday, it was this and this game I played for 74, and they're going to be like, okay, what is happening?
We gotta go.
But before we move on, Jess, since you're the commissioner on this question, since I asked it, are we allowing data as the answer to the favorite data thingy?
Well, it is very broad, isn't it? But it seems like it's more data about specific things, maybe. So I think you narrowed it down enough that we can allow that to stand.
I'm leaning to allowing it as well.
I checked the rules. I think we're good on this case.
Did you check the bylaws? Because I mean,
there's so many of them.
I know. I think Appendix 17 is what you're looking for. Just to give you a quick.
Can you put a scroll into my post-production?
I cannot, but everybody imagined there was. Also, check the show notes if you want to buy one of our printed bylaw books.
Oh, that's a great marketing tip right there.
I know.
Not only are we doing stickers and shirts, you can now buy the bylaws.
Yes.
Amazing.
I mean, have you ever?
We should write those.
Yeah, let's wait and see. Let's see how demand actually ramps up, just to see if it's actually worth doing. And just like that, another.
And then we're back to data to see, like, okay,
exactly.
Mm-hmm, nice. Mm-hmm. Because then we could maybe have a super nice dashboard and all of that shows us where the customers are sitting that are buying our bylaws.
Whether we should be doing them in English or German or another language.
And potentially there could be bylaw abiding buyers, which also sounds super fun, right? Right?
This does sound like a pie. But before we get too much into that pie, maybe we'll come back to the podcast for a hot second. And I think maybe, Margarita, you already kind of answered some of your hobbies, but what is your favorite what did you say?
You said pie.
Pie?
Yes. Pretty sure you said pie.
Definitely pie. Pie is a great idea.
Okay.
We're having pie.
Pie chart.
Perfect. That's the third question, though, Ben. We're only on the second question, what is your favorite non-data thing?
It might be pie.
Yeah, it could be.
In this case, not. One of the most favorite things of me are games. Board games, but also video games. But I don't want to talk too much about it. We also already had the nerd stuff, but I have also a second thing that counts to one of my favorites. I started pole dancing 2 years ago, and it grew so much into my heart because mostly it's the first time in my complete life that I had to learn that I have to learn something. And when I put dedication into it, I can get even better. And I don't know why. Most of the time I'm not so patient. Even I can do something, or I really don't feel like doing something. But this time is the first time where I just stick to it and realize, like, okay, I can get stronger. And just this feelings of physically getting stronger feels great. I never loved sport. I never did sport. I tried to avoid sport, but then I realized this could be cool. And the side effects to feel more healthy and fit is also quite nice.
Pretty good side effects?
Yeah. I feel younger.
Nice. I went to a fitness festival a few years ago, and there was a pole dancing competition there, and I was like, how is this even? And the things they were doing, I was mind blown. It was ridiculous strength.
Yeah. And it's so much fun if you realize, like, okay, I did this now for 8 weeks and it did not work out, and this time it worked out. It did not look beautiful, but I was up there, and my head it was down.
Yeah, that's
on
cool.
purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
That is a very important piece of information.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
But this really, I don't know why exactly this sport put my passion, but since I started it, I did it, and currently I had to do some forced break for it. But before it, I did it then 4 to 5 days a week, and my husband was like, "When do I see you in between?"
do you
But
have a
it
pole at
was
your home or do you have to
yes.
go somewhere? Okay.
I go somewhere 2 times a week, but I also have one at home, so I just go into our sports room and can train
So
then there
he can see you
efficiently.
there. I mean, what's he complaining about? I mean, he may
He's
not
too
get to talk
lazy
to
to
you or
go the
anything.
stairs down.
Okay. I mean, we were talking a lot about dedication, and if I mean, I'm just leaving it out there without
I
actually
also
saying it, but
proposed to him that he could try together with me. Would be no problem to show him something, but he was too shy.
Mm. Well,
or
it
the
feels like if
issue
you
was
have it
still
in
that he
your
had to
own
go down the
house,
stairs.
well, right, it's in your own house. He could. I feel like you could teach him some moves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a sport or a fitness activity that we have not covered yet on the podcast.
Uh, I was thinking the same thing, and I'm also pretty sure not. I actually
Nice.
know another community member who does pole dancing, but we didn't have her on the show yet. So
I also love it when guys are doing pole dancing. They are so rare, but also it looks quite different often. And they can also often, not always, often do different kinds of figures because they
Mm-hmm.
just bring a different kind of strength with it.
Ben,
yeah,
is
yeah,
this
I
the
heard
sport for
you.
you?
No,
Yeah.
I'm still.
I just search for a partner to do double pole when two people are at the same time there.
Uh, I can try to link you up with Joanna. She doesn't live too far from you, so she's in the Netherlands, so that will probably be something that's doable. And she's
Perfect.
been doing this for a couple of years at least. I don't know for how long. But so that might be an actual helpful suggestion. Given my current shape, I would probably hold
Yeah.
myself on that pole, looking very, very desperate for about 2.7 seconds at most. So I'm not sure how much joy we would get out of that. I'm still trying to get restarted on my career is a big word on my running baby steps again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, let's fix that first.
It's,
Okay, one
it's
step at
always
a time.
fine.
Also, the other thing, and that is not an excuse in that case, is from what I understand, also talking to others who do pole dancing or similar sports, is which is basically also what you said. It requires a lot of dedication and training and effort, which also requires a lot of time, which I'm slightly short of right now because, well, see,
Doing the podcast.
once Gwenny is big enough, that might be a father daughter sports for us. How fun would
This
that
sounds
be?
perfect.
That
I
sounds
know.
awesome.
And now it's on the internet. Unfortunately, this episode will never make it to the channel. But anyways, before we talk myself more into this rabbit hole that I'm digging here deeper and deeper, and again, I have not said how old she has to get for me to start that with her. Maybe it's going to be my gift for her 40th birthday. Who knows? I mean, doing the math, no, it won't.
Yeah.
Anyways, all that talk about sports, it's a very typical segue, I know. But I mean, when people say sports, it's just the obvious one, especially given that I used to, and Jess still is, mostly doing sports for one specific purpose, so we
Yes,
can eat. However,
exactly.
I kind of perfected that part in a way that I'm still eating without the sport, so it is possible. Not
I just
necessarily recommended. You keep
I did
wondering,
it beforehand, the eating, and then realized sport could also be handy.
yeah,
But eating is great.
Mm-hmm.
eating is more than great, which
That
gets us
is
to our favoritist question on this podcast. All the rest is
agreed.
just to lead up to this in some way.
Yeah.
What is your favorite food, Margarita? If we come
Um,
visit you to attend you and your husband's double polling show, what are you making for dinner before or after?
oh, my favorite is food is something that I will never make because it's too much of a work for me.
Oh, that's okay.
Um,
We don't care if it's a lot of work for you. You can still make it for us.
You can take us out. It's fine.
Oh,
I
you can
love
take your time.
ramen. Ramen is really my
Mm.
favorite food
Mm.
because every time I eat it, it just really feels like that my heart is getting warm and I just feel hugged. I don't know why. When I eat ramen, I feel like someone is hugging me, and this is my definitely comfort food for all of the time. It's not something that I would cook. When I would invite you over and I would do my special dish, it would be more lasagna.
Ooh.
But ramen is something when I'm sad and when I'm happy and when I want to celebrate something. That there's in every occasion, it's always perfect.
However, I would argue that the only thing about ramen that is time consuming is the actual broth.
Yeah, but the broth is the most important one. If you
I
don't
get
have
that.
a good broth, then I don't feel hugged.
I mean, well, I kind of get that because without a proper broth, it's just a very pale noodle soup. But there's a couple of very good broths out there that you can get if you go to some of the well, we just call them Asia stores, and they call themselves that have anything from sushi rice over those what do you call those
Oh,
those
the cat
Those
things.
cats.
Saki cats, happy
Yeah, I
cats,
know exactly what you meant by this.
over rice bowls, over sometimes in parts very very good. There's even one in my street. They actually cook their own broth and then sell their home
Mm.
cooked broth that you could use. So
This
um,
sounds really nice, but the second problem is my husband hates ramen, so it's
Oh
really
no.
not something
yeah,
that I would cook more often or
that is
frequently.
no problem. We'll just have it in your basement because apparently that's too far for him anyway. So he will
Smart.
never know. It's all
He has no
I'm.
problem with seeing it, but I don't like to cook twice, so it's more that I try
Excuse
to
me.
cook something that
You're
he's
not
also
cooking twice. You're
eating.
making ramen, and those that cannot appreciate it, they can get themselves something else. He's a big boy. He can manage. I mean, seriously. No, this is unacceptable. We're having ramen. You're good with ramen, Jess?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, then come
Um,
over
Sounds
and we eat
amazing.
ramen, then I will try it the first time. Or Ben brings the broth with him that's
Mm-hmm.
across the street.
Outsourcing. I
it's
like it.
only really great the same day, to be honest. Well,
You
potentially the
can,
day after as well.
it's
Have not tried
fine. You
that.
can go out, you bring, get the broth, and then go into a train to my house, and then that same day we can eat it.
Very well. It seems you really thought that through. I mean, the other thing is the other great thing if you're getting some good but pre-cooked broth is that we could potentially have different broths.
That's also right. For me, it's the miso broth. Which one do you like?
I personally prefer the miso broth as well. My partner, she always takes the shuyu. So
I'm
yeah.
gonna need to try it all because I don't think I've ever made a decision on what kind of broth I want. But
See,
also, feel like I've had ramen very few times.
we have it. I'm gonna say at least once a month, usually two, because there's this Asia store, but there's also two very good shops that deliver ramen. So I admit we usually don't cook it ourselves just because we have access to pretty good ramen and get it delivered with everything. And they also bring us some nice made tempura and everything with it. So I mean,
Perfect.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is almost time for me to hit the time over warning button because someone, I guess it was Jess, walked down a couple of rabbit holes today.
Yeah, my fault.
Ah, apologies accepted. Apologies accepted. Anyways, Margarita, thank you so much for joining us and sharing a bit more about you. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we see you all next week with yet another friend. Bye.
Bye,
Okay.
folks.
Bye bye.